Welcome everybody back to the Dragon's Lair. Once again, I am your boy Wade, and we are talking Warhammer 40k. Right now I'm still talking Tyranids. Don't worry, I am going to talk Necrons sooner or later, and very soon I will be talking to you about Guard. Because the moment that Guard Codex comes off the shelf, I am getting it. I'm going to have one day one. And we're going to go over it, we're going to have reviews, we're going to talk about all kinds of stuff, and we're going to get our Dorn on. Dorn battle tanks. But right now, once again, I am talking about Tyranids. This is going to be a really short video. I'm not going to talk to you about a unit. I'm not going to talk to you about strategies or synergies or anything like that. What I'm going to talk to you about is the data slate. So if you're not familiar, every once in a while, Games Workshop takes the data from what they see at tournaments and what they see with their own playtesting, and they try to balance the game out a little bit. So if Harlequins are winning all the time, unstoppable everywhere, ideally they're going to try to bring them down a little bit so that they're not unbeatable. If Tyranid Leviathan is stomping all over everything everywhere, check the data. Tyranids are winning just a little bit more than Harlequins, and Harlequins have been smashing everybody's faces for months now. At least 8-9 months. As long as I've been following the data, Harlequins have been murdering everybody. So anyways, they put out what they call the data slate, and it's hopefully to bring up the armies that are not doing so well, but also bring down the armies that might be OP. Yeah, and for a while, Tyranids were just killing everything because Leviathan was super great with its synaptic control. So anything that was synapse, a synapse unit, had transhuman, so it could only be wounded on a 4, 5, or 6. And anything that was within synapse of those had baby transhuman, it could only be wounded on a 3, 4, 5, or 6. That was the old way. We don't live in that world anymore. So talking about it, let's get right into it. You can find this on Warhammer Community. This is right off of the Warhammer Community website. So let's talk about this for a second. It's going to be a short video, everybody. Add the following to the rare organism detachment ability. So rare organism in the Codex says that you can only have one Hive Tyrant per detachment. So add the following to rare organism detachment ability. If your army contains one or more Hive Tyrant models, one of them must be selected as your warlord. I don't really jive with that because my warlord's always been my Neurothrope. So story-wise, my Neurothrope is still my big boss leader. Mechanically, according to GW, I have to have a Hive Tyrant be that warlord. So now it's my Walker Ant. But whatever. Replace the first paragraph of Synaptic Imperatives ability with, if your unit from your army has the Hive Tendril keyword, excluding unaligned units, and each of those units, excluding living artillery, is from the same Hive fleet, then while your warlord is on the battlefield, synapse units from your army have a Synaptic Imperative ability depending on which one is currently active for your army. Okay, so what that does is, if you only have one Hive Tyrant, and let's say he's winged, and let's say you chose to deploy him flying around so he's not on the table, you're going to bring him in turn 2 or turn 3 or whatever, you're going to bring him in later, then Synaptic Imperatives don't work. It only works when your warlord is on the table. Conversely, if your warlord gets murdered, no more Synaptic Imperatives. I'm personally okay with it because if it's at the point in time where my warlord gets murdered, the game is pretty much shot for me anyways. So I don't really mind. When playing a matched play game, players cannot swap out adaptive elements of their army. So hyper adaptation, talking about feed, hunt, lurk. At the start of the battle, while playing match play, players cannot swap out adaptive element of their Hive fleet adaptation at the start of the battle after determining who has gone first. So you can't do that anymore. If you wish to do so, this must instead be done during the muster armies step and the player's selection written on their army roster. So this is mostly a tournament thing. And all they're doing is adjusting when you can. So you're ultimately going in with less information. You're going in with less information about the table. You're going in with less information about what your opponent's taking. But you'll still know things like I'm going up against Guard, or I'm going up against Death Guard, or Harlequins, or whatever. In my opinion, that's not a huge hit. It just forces you to be a little more sneaky and a little more crafty. It really forces you to know your hyper adaptations well. So I think that's more of a strategy thing that you can learn your way out of. Here's where the world changed. And a lot of people have abandoned Leviathan because of this. I have not abandoned Leviathan. I'm still going to play Leviathan. Change the first bullet point of Leviathan Hive Fleet Adaptation Synaptic Control to each time an attack is made against a Synapse monster unit with this adaptation, an unmodified wound roll of 1 to 3 always fails, irrespective of any abilities that the weapon or attacker may have. Alright, so this moved. So not being able to be wounded on a 1 to 3, that is the ability called Transhuman that Space Marines have. So that's why everybody just calls it Transhuman. So this used to be, before October, this used to be any Synapse creature had this synaptic control. Now it's only any monster. So the monsters that still have it, or the creatures that still have it, are your Hive Tyrants, which is good. They're tough anyways, but it's still good. A Maliceptor is going to have it. A Trigon Prime is going to have it. I don't like Trigon Primes, but hey, if you like them, that's cool. Good for you. And sincerely, Hive Mind, if Trigon Prime is working great for you, work it. Work it, girl. Kill it all day long. If it's working good for you, I'm happy. It doesn't work good for me. And I have 4 of them. Anyways. So also, don't forget your adaptive physiology, where you could turn a monster into a Synapse creature. So you could take a Harosphex and make it into a Synapse creature. Or you could take a Harpy and turn it into a Synapse creature. I like to make my Harpy a Synapse creature, because that way I can fly Synapse around the board and tag up with some Synaptic Link range. I love my Harpy. The big thing where it loses out is you lose out on Zonothropes, which was not a big deal anyways. I really feel you lose out on Warriors. And that may be the tipping scale. Warriors are going to die quicker now. So maybe you have to take more Warriors in the squads. Warriors are going to die quicker now. That's the big deal. And then the next one is a change to the Reaper. I use the Reaper on my Fly Rant. Go ahead and watch my Fly Rant video where I talk about the Reaper there. I don't feel like this breaks the bank. Change the first bullet point on the Reaper of Obliterax to each time an attack is made with this weapon. If the attack successfully wounds the target suffers 1 mortal wound in addition to any other damage, to a maximum of 3 mortal wounds. So, the Tyrant was walking around, or flying around, I guess, with 5 attacks anyways. So that means, the way that I have my Tyrant, he has rerolls to hit and rerolls to wound. You're pretty much going to get all 5 hits with the Tyrant, because you need a 2+. So it basically is the difference between doing 5 extra mortal wounds in a combat, in a fight phase, or 3 extra mortal wounds. It's not a big loss. You're pretty much gonna hit most of the time. You're gonna wound most of the time, and then you're gonna get those 3. You're not gonna miss out on those 3. If you're hitting 4 times out of 5, and you're wounding 3 times out of those 4 hits, and you're still talking about like 15 wounds. And if you're fighting a, you know, abominant or a tyrant chaos knight, sure, you know, you're gonna be sad that you didn't get those 2 extra wounds, but it's only 2 wounds. If you're fighting anything else, you're still gonna butcher the world, as you should, and you're still gonna get your murder on. So yeah, they capped it. I don't have a problem with the cap. It feels reasonable. And it's only a difference of 2 mortal wounds per fight phase, so it's not a big deal. It's never been a big deal for me. Like I said, this big thing was all about the synapse control for High Fleet Leviathan, and a lot of people are, you know, jump ship with Leviathan. I'm going to continue to play it, just because I like Leviathan. It fits my story, it fits my narrative. I like it a lot. I do have other builds in mind. You know, there's a Kraken build in my head where we get there quicker. There's a Behemoth build. There's a Gorgon build. I have a Gorgon build with 80,000 shots from 80,000 guns, because anything that you roll to wound on a 4+ wounds. So at that point in time, it's just about jacking up the numbers. Those are rookie numbers. You gotta get those numbers up. So yeah, I'm not sweating it. Anyways, I wanted to do a video for this in case there were people out there who were not aware of the balanced data slate or how the balanced data slate works. Also, if they weren't sure the change that had been made to Leviathan. All you super competitive tournament players out there that chasing the meta, you guys know about all this. But as I've said before, I want my content to apply to everybody. I want my content to be, you know, out there to bring the community up. And if this helped you, maybe you give me a like, maybe you give me a subscribe, and you check out some of my other videos. I just want to be positive, and I want to be out there in the community doing good things. That's what I care about. It's who I am. That's what I'm here for. If you like my Warhammer 40k content, if this has been useful to you, go ahead, like, subscribe, hit the bell button, go ahead and use your Reaper of Obliterax and hit me 5 times out of 5 and wound me 4 times out of 4. Well, it's the like and subscribe button that you're hitting and wounding. And then get your 3 extra mortal wounds. Heck, I'll even give you the 5. I'll give you the 5 mortal wounds. If you're going to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell button for me, I'll give you the 5. But you're going to do like 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 25 wounds. That's pretty great. That's pretty great. And I want that for you. I want the 25 wounds for you. So that's it for me, Hive Mind. If I brought a smile to your face, go ahead, like and subscribe, like I said. Go ahead and check out some of my other videos. I'll leave some links here to the start of my Tyrants and things. I understand that you most likely have all sorts of things on your plate. You know, successful relationships, romantic relationships, kids, jobs. Maybe you're in school right now. Anyways, everyone, you got a lot on your plate. You have a lot of things that you could be doing, and the fact that you would choose to spend some time here with me at the Dragon's Lair really blesses me. So thank you, everybody.